Hey everyone, it's Jerry at the Fledge. Welcome to another episode of Every Damn Day. And today on the show, we've got our good friend Geronimo. What's up, Geronimo?
How you doing? How you doing?
I'm doing well. It's a nasty weather. My feet are wet from when I
Yeah.
was shoveling. So I think we're going to talk about wet feet a little bit today.
It's pretty
Um,
nasty.
so I didn't change my boots intentionally, so I would sit here and suffer through this cold, wet feet while I was talking with you because I thought it was appropriate for
There you
a
go.
footprints conversation. So, will you shovel snow today?
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, it's cold, and this is nothing yet. I mean, this is just a little icing on the cake.
Yeah, I know it, but that water definitely stinks, man.
Yeah,
That sucks. So, why don't you tell us a little bit about you and about the projects that you're working on?
Well, let's see. I was born and raised here in Lansing. Went to graduate out of Lansing Everett High School, class of '94, and just been a longtime resident of Lansing. Founded Footprints of Michigan, and then from there it's been up and running. We got a drive coming up actually in January. It's a backpack drive. So each month in 2021, we're going to have a different drive for different items. That way we can specify just specifically on one item. So January it'll be backpacks. February is going to be underwear and undergarments for men and women and so forth. But it was just mainly so we can, like I said, concentrate on one thing and get that item. The backpacks are definitely needed through the homeless community because basically that's everything they carry is in that backpack.
Hey, I've got like 25 extra backpacks right now.
Okay, there you go.
That you can definitely have because that's what I wanted to do with them anyways. And we gave them out with some of the other homeless events that we've had, but I didn't give out enough of them. So we got to note that and mark that down.
Definitely.
So you grew up on the south side?
Yeah. I grew up on the south side. I don't know if you consider it south on Norman Street off of Cedar Mount Hope. Yeah. Was there years and years. I remember as a kid, we moved there. I think I was like 8 years old, and I remember telling my parents, "I don't want to live here. This is like the neighborhood's bad, and this and that." And like my mom always said, "It's not bad. It's the home is what you make of it." And that's what they did. They made it into a home for me and my sister, and that's where we grew up. Like,
I live on Eaton right now. Right by there.
Okay.
I grew up in like on Hag Road in the Big T.
Okay.
Those apartments over there. So, yeah, South Side. I went to Everett for 1 year, but I had to transfer to be a Quaker when I graduated.
Technically, I was supposed to be a Quaker. Like, I wanted to play football at Everett, so I ended up going to Everett. Still, they'd take me, but I was still then I was in the Eastern District. I was supposed to go to Eastern, but didn't.
So, anyways, we could talk about football at Everett and Eastern forever, because I'm curious who your coaches were and all that. But let's get to Footprints and what Footprints is all about. Footprints of Michigan.
Like I said, it just started off, 2014. It's with another organization. We did the street walk, and I just seen a young man, that his shoes were all just tattered, torn, just ripped, duct taped, and it really got to me, like thinking like all these wonderful organizations are out here, but nobody's really concentrating on the feet. And that's the majority of those that are homeless. They walk on it 24/7. Like, I mean, so I had seen there was another lady that called her husband and brought the shoes over to him, and just the smile on his face, I'll never forget it. Like, he got the shoes, he put them in the dumpster, and he was just happy with a used pair of shoes that he had. From that, it all translated into being raised with my parents. My dad was a double leg amputee from diabetes. He lost both his legs below his knees, but he never let that stop him. He always kept going. I mean, you couldn't tell he had prosthetic legs on, but he always told me, he said in Spanish, he said, "Mijo," he said, "you always take care of your feet because that's what gets you through your journey in life." So like all this snowballed into like one big thing. He passed away in 2009. Shortly after that, I was taking care of my mother. She was diagnosed with kidney disease, so she was on dialysis and whatnot. I was taking care of her and just washing the dishes. You get that glance, you look up, and there's these curtains that we've had since we were kids. Like, you didn't pay attention to them because, you're a kid, you don't know. but it just hit me, and it was the little footprints in a sand poem all throughout the curtain, the imprint, and it just clicked in my head. From there, Footprints of Michigan, and then my buddy Brandon at Be Unique Designs, I told him, and like 2 hours later, he came up with the logo, and we were off and running. Like, it wasn't meant to even be put out then, but he was so excited about the logo. He did a great job. He put it out there, so everybody starts Facebook and like, well, what's this about? What's this about? I'm like, oh, now we got to build the site. We got to hurry up. So it ended up taking off in I believe it was June or July of 14. And from there, it just went off,
Yeah. So you're bringing tears to my eyes. I get too empathetic here sometimes. First of all, sorry about your father. And that's a very warming story.
Yeah,
because, yeah,
it definitely is. Like I said, and then my mom, she passed in 2015, and that's where it all started. Was the house on Norman Street. The upstairs attic was where all the shoes were coming in and out of. She would help out occasionally when she could, just she liked going through the shoes just to see. And then after she passed a year later, we ended up leaving the house, and we went to a storage unit, and that was by far the hardest damn thing to do, is to work out of a storage unit. But we made it work. I mean, we made it happen, and then we just kept growing. We kept growing.
You're not. Are you still in a storage unit?
No. We actually we're in a facility off of West Main. We are looking for a bigger facility to have our own, because right now we're split. We have a warehouse too out in Portland, Michigan. That's really right now at capacity with everything. We usually transfer summer, winter stuff. So a lot of the summer stuff is there, and the winter stuff is here, and then we just flip flop, when the seasons change and that. But yeah, we definitely need we want to start a building fund to build our own building. Nothing fancy, just something to house everything under one roof.
Yeah. So, so you've got every month next year, you're going to do a different type of drive.
Yeah.
What are some of the things that, because it's footprints, but you're going after backpacks. So I know you do a lot more. You're looking holistically at people. What are some of the other things that you'll be needing?
Just anywhere from like deodorants to hygiene products, basically anything you or I would need, like, that any person would need, socks, underwear. Ladies need bras, their feminine products, just whatnot. A lot of people say, well, just started off with shoes, but the whole thing, what people really don't understand is, for when you're on the streets, the shoes is a kind of icebreaker. Because a lot of people that are on the streets, if you don't know them, will not speak to you, will not trust you. But you give them a shoe, it opens them up to, you see their smiles, and that's where you build the trust. You build the trust with them, so you get to know them more, and it builds that so you can get them the resources they need to get housing and whatnot. Because there's so many wonderful organizations that house here. It's just getting them the resources to get them to open up to do it.
Yeah. So you and I were talking about the encampment, the back 40, before we came on, and I know that you were down there a lot. Well, you have been for years, but when they were talking about closing it and kind of getting everybody out of there, you were down there trying to make sure it was done in a just way, or not done. What are some of your thoughts on that whole process?
It's kind of hard. The situation's sticky because when this whole COVID came out, everything shut down. The shelter shut down. The outreach closed. So it left these people with nowhere to go. So more and more people ended up going to the back 40. Usually there'd be, just a few campers, but there was, I don't even know, in the beginning, there were so many people back there. And my situation, with everybody else, is you hear the COVID, you're like, you're staying home. You don't know. You kind of get scared because you don't know what the hell is going on. But at the same time, like I sat and I thought, because I have kidney disease too, so I can't, I got to watch where I'm at. But I said to myself, I started this organization to help people, and that's what we need to do. And this is the time more than any, to help people. So we went out and started off with wood and food and clothing and shoes and, just helping them basically get the necessities they need to survive. With the whole back 40 thing my thing is, why do you kick them out now in the winter when you had all summer, all of fall to replace them, to put them somewhere, and tell them that they can move. You wait till the winter, and then you wait till the holiday, and it's just it's kind of ridiculous. And there's what they don't understand is a lot of people who have PTSD, who have mental illness, they don't want to be around other people. Some people get bullied in the shelters. Let's face it. I mean, it's not cut and dry. It's not a pretty place either. There's a lot of bullying that's going on. There's a lot of, things that you don't think of that are there, reasons why people are not going to the shelters. And one of the biggest things is some of the people ask me, they're like, well, I don't want to go there because I had my phone on the charger. Somebody stole it. So, everything I have is in this backpack and I have to have it with me 24/7 or else, you put it down, it could be gone. And then you have to start back over again. But I just think the back 40, they do, some of the living conditions are there on one side are pretty bad. That's because there was no trash removal. So a lot of the trash and a lot of it, like I tell people, I blame us as the organizations, including Footprints, in the beginning, because we want to help out and we give and we take them food and we take them this and we take them that, but we're not taking nothing back. We're not taking the trash. We're not, so that's where we started stepping in and along with Punks with Lunch, they started getting the dumpsters. And because, it is partly our responsibility too, is because all you see is containers out there, styrofoam containers, and it's a lot of the stuff that we give them to help them, but then we're not helping take it out, and that's what we needed to do.
Yeah. So, do you think that I saw some video, like the property owners, the Ides, if you don't mind me mentioning them, they weren't being overly compassionate, but they also weren't being mean about it. Like it seems like they're trying to find a solution. Was that true?
I personally don't know. If they were, I understand, it's their property and they can do whatever they want with it. But my thing is trying to find, along with the city, is trying to find a way, to either get them a space where they can camp if they choose to be outdoors in a safe spot, just move them into a different location where they can set up their camp, because a lot of people think their camp is their home. Everything they have is in that home. And that was one of the major things is they're like, where am I going to put my stuff? I have to start back over again. Here goes all my stuff. They're going to throw it away and it's going to be gone. So if they could find a piece of land that's not being used, that, people can check on them regularly, they could have a system going for those who choose to stay out there, I think it'd be a good solution.
Yeah. So Giannis Jackson is commenting over here that she still has some funds to help with this site, and she has a tent that she bought yesterday, and she's able to go out there with you today later. I don't know if she's talking to you or me.
Yeah, we talked earlier yesterday. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So shout out to Giannis. Shout out to Sean out there with the lady, Miss Betty, and all of that. We were also talking about, this isn't just something really simple. Here's a Section 8 housing. Here's a Social Security check or whatever they might get. They can afford that housing. It seems simple, right? Just take that person, put them in that housing.
The way you say that there's a bed available for you at the shelter, it's that simple, but it's not that simple. Right. There's a lot of things you have to take in consideration on that person, because everybody's different. But it's happening everywhere across the United States, everywhere across the world. And now more than ever with this pandemic going on, we're seeing more and more people out there on the streets.
And there's, when we help a lot with the homeless with our food giveaway and the different events like Punks with Lunch or Happiest Homeless Person, Chris Pruitt does. And in the beginning, it was tough because a lot of them were showing up. They didn't have masks. You think, oh, they've been everywhere today and they haven't had masks on. And we were trying to give them masks and that might last for a few minutes. And then the mask was gone. And it was scary in the beginning. But like you, we're like, no one else is here. Well, it's not that no one else is here. It's that they don't have an option. We've got to do something. And I don't know, that I just started feeling worse and worse and worse. I mean, the buses got shut down. the capacity got severely reduced, and it's starting to have a toll, right? We were talking about the guy they found on Cedar.
Yeah, and that's my thing. Like I said, we haven't confirmed that, but it was a couple of days ago they found a guy out who was dead and passed on Cedar Street, and I'm hoping, chances are, it looks like it is the same guy that we were trying to get into housing. That was homeless, that had severe mental illness, and again, the system failed him because they had picked him up. CMH had picked him up, and they released him after 7 days back into society, which in the way he shouldn't have been released out. And hopefully it wasn't him, but I'm pretty sure it was him. We're still trying to confirm that now.
And again, my condolences for that, because I don't think you look at these guys, these people, the women and everybody, as clients, right? It's
no, I look at them as human beings.
Yeah. No. And you might even remember the shoes that you gave somebody, or, some story about them that they told. I think, that's not just, oh, we lost a client. That's you lost someone that's a human that you even might consider a friend.
Yeah. Regardless if whatever they did, because I know he was in prison. So, regardless of what he did or whatever, it's still a human being. It's a human being that's out there. This could have been prevented if he was in, if they would have took him into a psychiatric or somewhere to keep him, safe. Instead, they had him wandering the streets, and nowhere to go. And
yeah. So when we first started, I would have said that your mission was to provide footwear for people, boots and shoes and all of that. But it's bigger than that. How do you sum up what your mission is?
Basically it's just to help anybody in need. Like I said, it started off with the shoes and the footwear, and like I said, it's growing because the people are coming to us for they need help, whether it's clothing or, even food, and even like the housing, we can refer them to different agencies and that, and let them know who they can contact and get a hold of it with that. But it's like we call it is thinking outside the soul. So it's not just, like I said, just the footwear. It's helping out basically in all the social services and whatever they need, to get them without any questions asked. Because I don't deal with the red tape stuff, that BS. I need to know where you live, this and this and that, how much you make. You're coming to us for a reason. You're coming to us for help. So that's what we provide.
And I love that that inclusion that you have there, where you're not weeding people out or making them show something that they probably don't have.
Yeah.
Spectacular.
Yeah.
So what's something you do every damn day to push that mission forward?
Every damn day. Let's see. I just on the computer, just research. I mean, I'm on this 24/7. I'm like, some people say, well, don't you sleep? Like, I'm up till 2 a.m. just going at it, just going at it, even if it's going through the computer, looking at different things, looking at different ways people do things across the United States, different shelters, just different systems and that. And just to try to find a better solution, a better way, to help more people out.
Yeah. I'm sure the people around you get worried about burnout and your health and what you're doing. Right. So what's something you do to take care of yourself?
Honestly, drive.
Yeah.
I just drive. There's times I just get in the truck and just go. Just drive on the highway, turn the music up and just go. I mean, last time I think it was last fall, I ended up in on Lake Michigan by Holland. Just driving, just sitting there, and that's what takes it away. And then on the way back, I'm just nonstop thinking of different things that we can do for footprints and different things. So it's just like a small release before, just to get away.
Is this your full-time job, or do you have another job?
Honestly, yeah, no, I left my job and I had a good job. I had a damn good job. I worked for Bridgewater Interiors. I worked there for 12 years and it was making good money. But at the time, it was a supplier for General Motors. They ended up cutting the third shift, which was I was on third. So I bumped to first and I couldn't do it because the phones were nonstop going to my cell phone, going crazy. I'd have to sneak off on the line, go to the bathroom, answer the phone, see who it was, what they wanted. So when I got out of work, we had to take the shoes to whoever, needed them and whatnot. And it got to the point in June of 2018, I just walked in and I said, you know what, I'm done. And I didn't tell no friends. I didn't tell no family. I just walked in. When I left, my phone started blowing up an hour later saying, did you really quit? You just quit, you know, because I'm like, yeah, I was like, I couldn't do it no more. You know, I knew it was going to be a lot of sacrifice. And boy, it was a lot of sacrifice because
Yeah.
now my buddy has a t-shirt company, so I've been, you know, working with him, doing side jobs here and there, you know, and I don't live the fancy life. I don't live, you know, my truck's a '03, it's paid off. That's all I need. You know, it keeps going for what we need it to do. As long as we can get this up and running, everybody's like, you need a salary, you need to get paid. And I understand that. And I understand, you know, sometimes you got to make sacrifices. And right now, we're not at that point where I can say, I need a salary before we need a building or we need, you know, whatever else. I can make that sacrifice and wait, you know, whatever it needs be till we get to that point. And I'll make it work from there. I always have. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
Do you, so we need to revolutionize the way that we care for people. I think you would agree with that statement.
Yeah.
How hard is it to change kind of the mindset of the community when they look at what you're doing and what needs to be done? And is that work? I mean, I know you lost money.
Yeah.
But it was probably replaced with a very rich and fulfilling, a smile on someone's face when you hand them the shoe.
I wouldn't change it for anything in the world. Every day coming in this office is a different day. I mean, different people come in, different people go. I mean, I love the people I worked with at the factory, but you know, I love doing this. I love wow. I mean, that's just the way I am.
And I just want to make a comment about you. You've been to the Fledge a bunch of times, and you see how stressed I get. I'm running around all this time. You're always cool, man. I need to come to your class on how to stay cool with all this bullshit.
I just let it go. Like, it is what it is. It is what it is. You know, we just let it ride, especially like with this whole pandemic. We had fundraisers scheduled every month. And, you know, with the pandemic, everything got canceled. Yeah. So everybody's like, well, you're not flipping. I was like, you know what? We'll make it work. Whatever we have left or whatever we have, you know, we'll make it work out. We'll find ways. I mean, and that's all I'm doing nonstop is finding different ways, you know, that we could raise, you know, the funds, because we don't have an established monthly set, you know, donations that we can count on every single month. So every time it's you have to go out there and you have to get it. I mean, and in the beginning, I have a folder on my email account of all the donations we requested, you know, and you get that biggest letter. Unfortunately, we're unable to, you know, we have so many other people, we can't help you, and I put them in a file, and I use that as like motivation. So when I sit there and I look years back, I'm like, these people didn't give, they didn't want to give. They said, no. And now I look at it, they're like, here you go. Yes. So you made them change, you know, within 2 or 3 years, you made people realize, you know, the work that you're doing, it's making an imprint out there.
Yeah, I like that. You got to collect your nose in anything that you're doing, you know, whether you're selling something or you're doing tryouts or whatever. You got to collect those notes.
Somebody tells you no, you can't stop, because if you stop, then you're done. You got to just keep going forward and go from there.
Yeah. So we daisy chain these shows together. Yesterday, I talked political reform with Omar, and he has a question for me to pass on to you. And I really love this question because, you know, we've got this sneaker mentality. People buying bots. So when the new Air Jordan comes out, they're buying it and they're flipping them for thousands of dollars, sometimes probably a lot more. I don't know. They just sold his sneakers for like $250,000 or something. How, when you see stuff like that, well, first of all, were you a sneakerhead? Are you a sneakerhead? I hope that's not bad.
No. I don't know. I wear a size 15, so you know it's hard now to choose. So I take whatever I can get. But I was not really a real sneaker fan. I got a lot of friends that are, you know, and it doesn't bother me because at the same time, a lot of them that I know that are these sneaker fanatics and that they give back. So they give back shoes as well. You know, it's not just, oh, gimme. They've always given back, you know. I mean, people have different tastes on different things. I mean, that's just life. You can't change people's what they like to do and what they like to spend their money on. It's just take a little a little bit and just think about, somebody that's less fortunate and maybe give back a little bit. And that's all. It makes the world a little bit better.
So I have this image, John and Josh Horford donated a bunch of shoes to the Fledge, and those were some cool shoes, right? I mean, they definitely were sneakerhead type of shoes, but, and I said, here's this big bag. Do you want them? And you were like, yes, but not, I mean, you were excited about it because you were looking for the size, not for the Air Jordans. And these dudes have big feet.
Yeah.
And so I just found that so fascinating because here's, I don't know, brand new, there were thousands of dollars worth of shoes in that bag. But that wasn't the thing with you. It wasn't like, oh, I wonder if I could flip this. It was, I know a dude that needs a size 14 or 17 or whatever the heck, their feet size was. So that I always remember as something super cool.
And that was one of the main things with starting the organization that I promised until this day we still go is all the shoe donations that come in, we never sell them. We never, flip around and sell them because, like I tell everybody, there's other means for us to find fundraisers. Those shoes are donated for a reason, is to be on somebody's feet to help them out, whether they're Air Jordans or whether they're Walmart shoes. So a lot of the stuff, like a lot of the Jordans and that, we will not take on the streets. We usually keep them in the back, and we leave those usually for the teenagers, the schools that call. We give them to them because we have a tendency. I don't want to give a pair of Jordans out to somebody on the street, to an older guy who doesn't know what they are. They're just shoes, and then to get robbed or beaten up for them, So we kind of watch it in that aspect. But at the same, we had Playmakers donated a pair of UGG boots. I believe it was like 2 years ago, brand new. And a friend of mine was like, those are like $200 something. I'm like, yeah. I was like, he's like, well, you're going to sell them? I was like, no, we don't sell them. I was like, they're going to stay here until they find, the right. And we had a cafeteria lady from Eastern High School ended up calling us, and she said there was this girl that needed boots, and she was still in sandals. And so we're like, and it always happens that way where it's the same size. Like, she called, and as soon as she said the size, I knew the boots. So we took them to the high school, and this girl, like, she was from, was it not Sudan? One of the countries in the East. But she was happy because, she didn't even look at them as UGG boots. They were boots, like, and she was happy to even have boots. And that's what it's about is, is they stay here for a reason. Like, I can reach over right now and show you this gold Jordan that everybody wants that somebody had donated. But you know what? They stay here until, the right time, especially for the kids that the parent that needs them, that if we have them, we'll let them have them.
Yeah, kids got enough shit to deal with too, man. They don't need their other kids teasing them about their shoes or their feet or whatever. Yeah. So that's a huge self-esteem booster, or at least an avoidance of lowering their self-esteem.
Yeah, and that's why we tell everybody when they donate the shoes, even if it's the gently used, we have volunteers that clean them up, that try to get them back to, in all honesty, when it comes down to, we call it again, like between the Walmart and the Nike, they would rather have a used Nike shoe than a Walmart shoe. I mean, because like you said, the bullying and this and that, the same way on the streets, we use a lot of the shoes that we get from Walmart, we use them for emergency needs. So if we don't have that particular size for somebody that's on the street, we give them those shoes, but those shoes won't last a couple of weeks on the streets. The way they walk, it's just to hold them over till we can find, the right pair that they need, and then we'll take them to them.
It's beautiful, Geronimo. It really is. And you taught me something. You got to kind of be careful what you give to somebody who's going to go to a camp or the mission, because you don't want violence to happen to them. That's a great point. Tomorrow on the show, there's a young lady. I don't know her yet. I've never met her. I've only exchanged emails with her. And she runs an organization where she tries to help women, not try to be that size zero and all the BS that they put in the magazines and the Barbie dolls and all that, and trying to bring women together to not shame each other and not, kind of participate in that BS marketing world that's out there. What question would you like me to ask her?
Basically, how would you change somebody that doesn't believe in that. Like you always have, like I said, that one person that's the outcast that it's not going to follow. So how would you change their mentality, you know, in believing, you know, they all need to be together without the shaming and, you know, just be women together.
Yeah. And so there's naysayers and there's people that don't want to, you know, that want to go that route for whatever reason. And I imagine you have that same type of thing in your crowd as well.
Oh yeah,
right?
oh yeah, everybody definitely. Like you said, the biggest one of all is you say, oh, they're gonna sell the shoes or they're selling the shoes, and like I said, if 10 people we give shoes to 10 people, and out of all those 10 people, even if 9 people sell the shoes, and that one person that we help that has the holes in the shoes, and you know what, then that makes a difference. That makes a difference in somebody's life, and that makes a difference with us because it's about helping the people out there in need. And when you see it firsthand is when it really hits you. Like I said, when you see the people with the shoes that are torn up, and especially the veterans was gets me the most is because these people served our country and they're walking the streets with holy shoes on, and you know, and it shouldn't be like that.
Yeah. So how can people get involved, like financially? Like how can we donate to you?
You can go through, we have, I believe it's through the website too. We have the PayPal, we have the Facebook donations that's on there too. We got the PayPal me / footprints of Mish. But a lot of the information too is on the website that you can go on there, just footprintsmichigan.org, and log on to there, and it'll show the information on how to donate or how to even volunteer your time to come in and help clean shoes or help organize or.
All right. So I put that in the comments real quick. So, you know, if you can afford it, if you're looking for an organization to help, the homeless people are really suffering this year. The services are reduced just because of capacity alone, but also people, you know, are anxious about everything. And go out in your front yard right now with your socks on, walk around that wet snow that's out there, come back in, put your shoes on, and sit there for a minute, and then throw $5, $10, $50 at Geronimo and Footprints of Michigan, because you'll understand how important this mission is. Geronimo, I want to show you a comment that I think everybody that would watch this would agree with. Take care of yourself, yo. You are a superstar. You make our community stronger, and we want this mission to survive, and that means we need you to survive. So you got a lot of love from us out here. And I think you know that already. You don't need me on the show. You know people love you and love what you're doing. So thank you for being on the show. Is there anything you want to take us out with?
No, just like I said, it doesn't matter where you're at. You can make a soulful footprint in the lives of anybody in your community. Like I said, we travel throughout the state, and no matter where you're at, there's always somebody in need. So, you know, just give a random act of kindness, and you know, let's make this world a little bit better.
All right, yo. Thank you so very much for being part of our community. I'll see you later, everybody, and tune in tomorrow at 2 for another episode of Every Damn Day. See y'all.